Andy, good to know exactly how many games Marshall's going to miss and be able to game plan around it?
Exactly. We obviously knew there was going to be a suspension. And as we were preparing our team, he's been on the second team the entire time simply because we want to get a little bit of continuity. As a matter of fact, when we had a close scrimmage against Little Rock last week, and I didn't play him a lot, simply not knowing what to anticipate as it related to him being a part of our team early. So now we know, and we can game plan accordingly.
Lineup-wise, how does it change? I mean, what has changed? Does Ladarius have to take on a bigger role? I mean, who's got to step up?
Well, the one thing, the advantage that we have is we do have a pretty veteran group in our backcourt. When you start talking about, Jarvis is a 2-year starter. Snoop obviously had an opportunity to emerge in his role last year. Derek Millinghouse. And we've seen a huge improvement, as I've said, from day one in Anthony and Newby in year 2. So I think we'll be okay. Obviously, when you lose your leading scorer, different guys are going to have to step up and fill that void.
How are the two front court guys looking now that you've had a scrimmage and all that kind of stuff?
AJ and Bear,
Yeah.
in particular.
Well, also new guy, Sebastian.
Yeah, unfortunately we lost Terry, so, we lose a front court guy, so now we're dealing with 4. 2 of those didn't play. Bear didn't hardly play at all last year, and then obviously AJ goes down against Kentucky. So I've been really pleased. They haven't missed a day of practice. They seem healthy. They're getting their timing back. Most importantly, they're getting their confidence back so that they can play the roles that we need them to play in lieu of Reg and Murph no longer being here. And then those 2 freshmen, we've got to understand that they are freshmen. I've been very pleased with the way they've approached the preseason as it relates to their work ethic, their attention to detail. They just got a lot to learn. So we've got to have Bear and AJ play like veterans, play like guys that have been in real games, which they have, and allow these new guys to come along in a freshman pace.
What can you tell from Bear and AJ right now in terms of endurance and how long they can go?
I think Bear's probably in the best shape of his life. He's down to, I look at it almost every day in the weight room, and they weigh him 2 or 3 times a week, and he's down to about 272, 273. He's a guy that takes conditioning very seriously. He's a 4th-year junior. He's been in our program 4 years. He knows what it takes. So I think physically he's fine. It's just a matter of he hasn't played in a real game in quite some time, so it's going to be a little rust that he needs to get through from a nervousness, from an apprehension, from going too fast. That's really the concern that we have moving forward with him.
With the experience they have, how much do you need them to play? Do you need them to play a lot early?
I need them to be veterans. I need them to know what they're doing. I need them to help these young guys along. I don't want to spend a lot of time in practice coaching them as it relates to what we're doing. They need to know those things so that we can spend our energy on guys that are new to the program.
Do you know who your starters are for Friday?
We do not. It's still a little bit fluid. We'll play everybody. You guys know how I approach the preseason. Obviously you want to win every game, but for me, we'll have 11 scholarship bodies healthy and eligible for that game, and all 11 will play.
With the suspension staggered to where he's going to miss the first 2 SEC games, how does that change things, I guess, in the approach going into the SEC season? Because it's 2 totally different seasons. Is that kind of jarring in a way?
Yeah, I've never dealt with it. It's kind of unprecedented in the way that it's laid out. So for us, we'll just deal with it as it relates to him not being there for the opener. Then he'll be back in the mix. And then when we approach Auburn, by then, a lot of other guys have gotten experience as it relates to Anthony, Newby. So my hope is we'll deal with it like we would if we lose anybody at that stage of the season. I don't think about it big picture right now. We just think about him not playing Friday and not playing in our opener.
Were you satisfied with just the punishment, 3 games?
As I said, I trust the people that make those decisions. Ross and I had a continual dialogue. Ultimately, it's his decision as it relates to the department. And I'm the guy that's dealing with Marshall on a day-in, day-out basis. So we had a number of conversations. I thought the punishment was fair. And as you said earlier, I'm just glad we know what it is now so that we can move forward.